All right, let's see how this goes. With any luck, we'll be able to share this thing without completely bogging down the whole world. Let's see what we get here. Hello, everybody out there in YouTube. Good to see everybody coming in. Hopefully, everyone can hear me okay. Hopefully, the audio is working okay. How are we all doing? How's it going, Boring? Can you hear me okay? Everything going well? Thank you so much for the likes as you're coming in. I am traveling today. Because of the travel, I got a little bit of a different setup going on today. As you can see, I'm sharing my screen on, which is actually my iPad. So this is the screen that you're looking at here. This is actually my iPad. Not many of, you can actually link an iPad to a MacBook and use it as an extra screen. So that's what I'm doing right now to make this work out for everybody a little bit better. I am in a trade right now, which I'm happy about. So you can see I'm in a micro Bitcoin trade futures. We did try this earlier when it exhausted with this big spike here. So I went ahead and got in. I ran my stop actually a little bit below the low, about a grand risk. So that worked perfectly well. But when it came up and came down, I went and went out and took a small win, be like 100, 150 bucks, because I wanted hands for a better entry. So I went ahead and re-entered here once I had a little bit better of an entry. Stop in this exact spot. So the target for this trade is ATR high all the way to H4. So we'll see what works. Right now, my stop is right here, basically below this value area. If we come back through there, I'll get out and call it done. So we'll see how that goes. So let me see if maybe that sucks about the audio. You're getting static. Okay, let me try this. Well, in Zoom, I was doing some different things to get to the audio quality. Is it still static? Okay, let me see if I do this. Much better now. I think what happens, only when I talk. All right, so let's stick with that. So you can see here again, like, right, so my stop is going to be if we lose this value area to the downside. So I'm trying to stick with, I got to like work on something. I had to send back my other laptop, unfortunately, because it just wasn't strong enough. So I had to go back to my MacBook for this trip. So just bear with me. Hopefully, it won't be too bad. Also, please make sure to like, subscribe. I go away for one day while I travel, and then only like 70 people show up the next day. I mean, come on now. No, yeah, I actually, because I had bought a whole new laptop, so I actually sent the whole thing back. So, oh, nice. You got a good trade on PLTR. That's awesome. I'm still long Bitcoin. So you can see here I'm holding it now. I'm actually in a pretty decent trade on. Either way, I think I'm going to make some decent money. So, so either way, I'll make like a few $100. But with any luck, this thing can get me. I could really, I had a really nice trade on equities a couple of days ago, and that really hooked me up. It was very, very nice Netflix trade. It was actually the Netflix trade I took, which I don't remember if I talked about. Was actually the largest stock trade I've ever taken. It was over like almost. It was just shy of 1,000 shares of Netflix, which for me, it's the most money I've ever traded on an equity ticker today. It was quite the position. So I'm pretty happy about that. Hey, Bats, how are you doing, buddy? Can you explain, even though ES on a narrow and it's moved away from CP, then moved back to it, shouldn't it be moving away from CP? So today's an interesting day with the cams, right? So we are in a narrow day, but like QQQ, for instance, is on a wide day. So this is not the ideal range today for this. Yesterday was a nice trending day, and we called some trending breakouts at the end of the day that all really worked. But for the most part, it took a while to get there. So now we're just kind of stuck chopping up in this like higher level here. But I mean, for the most part, every single day we've closed a little bit higher. So we've been bullish. So yesterday I didn't trade at all. So yesterday I traveled yesterday, and I traveled during peak trading times. And I don't know about y'all, but when I have to keep an eye on this, because sometimes I make a mistake where I will get too focused on trading. And I know it's because I'm a trader. I have a trading community. I trade on YouTube, right? Hey, Blake, what's up, buddy? So I am a trader. You know what I mean? But when I get too focused on trading, I lose track of like life and like freedom and being able to do the things I want to do. So, which is why I became a trader, right? So it's a hard balance to stay. So when we're talking about narrow ranges versus wide days, so on narrow days, we tend to play away from the CPR, and we're expecting to go outside the ranges. Where on wide days, we tend to play back in. So we tend to play more range plays. Now, micro Bitcoin today is a little bit different for me, right? Because we are on a narrow range, but because we went so far outside, I'm playing back in and maybe even all the way across the range. Right. Good to see you, NT. Hey, buddy. Don't forget, everybody, if you don't mind, please make sure to throw a thumbs up on there. I really appreciate you all for being in here and watching. And I will continue to try and provide you with high quality education. If you could just do me but one solid, which is to make sure that you smash that like button, subscribe as soon as you come in. Now, another reason you might want to subscribe: market auction theory. Is this a subject you would find interesting? If so, tomorrow I am going to be releasing one of my market auction theory webinars onto YouTube. So make sure you ring the bell so that you can get notified as soon as it is available. So one of the many tools that I utilize when I trade the market to understand whether or not I want to be buying or selling is actually using the principles behind market auction theory. And they really help focus. But whether it's stock trading, real estate, haggling down at a county fair, right? Everything is can be very, very helpful. How are you doing, brother? I'm amazing, Halava. How are you doing, good sir? Good to see everybody else that's come in, by the way. So happy to have you all with me. We are still long, people. So we're still long here on microbit. So I got in after our S6 call. My first trade, I got in, really liked this trade, had to run a really wide stop. So I made a decision that if we came back down, I was going to get out for a small profit and then re-enter lower to get the better stop, which is what I did. So I ended up getting a little bit better position on this one. So I'm pretty happy. Risked about $1,000 on the entry. And now what I'm doing is we're grinding higher. What I'm doing is I'm just, right now my stop is below this area of value. Look how I marked this area, by the way. Look when we came back, look, we absorbed right off the top of it. right? So if we get a big sell and we come back through this area of value, I'll likely get out. We're also now starting to trend away after getting above L4. So pretty soon I'm going to feel fully confident with going and moving my stop up under L4. It's when I look to the left, maybe my eye, hold on. Maybe my iPad was trying to take over my audio when I looked left. That happens. I just shut off my Bluetooth on my iPad. So maybe that will help. Did that fix it when I did that? Ah, aha. So we're finding it out. It's all this technology working against me. It was trying to grab my headphone and bring it over to my iPad, even though my iPad was a screen. You didn't figure that out, did you, Apple? As smart as you are. Wow, you go. All right. So at this point, I think if we fail from here, from VWAP, all the way back down, cross our averages and lose, I feel pretty comfortable with calling that a position, right? Or a failed. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up now to underneath R4 right there. So either way, we're going to make like a G today in this one. Let's see what we get. We're moving today. We got ourselves a call. It's not a loose wire, it's a headphone. The target on this bad boy, I'm going to go for ATR high. Why not? Loose wireless is what we've got going on here. No, not really, Alex. I've never been very good at really doing all the correlative stuff. You know what I mean? So I just trade the price action of whatever I'm trading, and I kind of figure I'll work that out. Yes, narrow and wide ranges are absolutely covered in the book. There's an entire chapter on pivot relationships. Oh, everyone's showing up. Hey, GP, good to see you, buddy. Sorry about the sporadic audio issues, everybody. Just kind of, be with me for the low quality. By the time I get back home in like a week, I've got my main setup there, which is working brilliantly. And then by the time I do that, my new laptop should be there for when I travel. So I wonder if I just don't use